The birthday candles flicker across 30 faces around our dining table. Lisa's 30th birthday party is in full swing, and I'm watching from the corner like always. My navy dress was bought on clearance 3 months ago, but it makes me feel put together tonight. The chocolate cake Mom ordered from the fancy bakery probably cost more than my weekly grocery budget. Dad raises his champagne glass high, grinning at Lisa. To our brilliant daughter, the youngest marketing director in the company's history. Everyone cheers as Lisa beams, her salon-perfect curls catching the light. Mom squeezes Lisa's shoulder tight. "We always knew you'd change the world," Mom says, her voice full of pride. Lisa laughs softly, trying to look modest. "The campaign just connected with people, that's all. Good timing and research." But Mom shakes her head firmly. "Don't you dare downplay your genius. That campaign saved 300 jobs. I clear my throat gently, hopping to join the conversation. "I read about it online. The video series was so creative. Did the CEO really call it revolutionary?" Dad doesn't even look my way as he interrupts. "Lisa, tell everyone what the board said about your promotion." My words disappear like smoke in the wind. This same scene plays out every family gathering. Lisa shines bright while I become invisible furniture. I concentrate on my breathing, counting the beats of my heart, anything to stay grounded as praise flows around me like I'm not even here. "Maya, could you grab more napkins from the kitchen?" Mom asks without looking at me. It's the first time she's spoken to me in an hour. I stand up quickly. "Actually, I wanted to mention that my team just finished. Did I tell you Lisa's company wants to send her to London next month?" Mom cuts in, her eyes lighting up with excitement. My throat feels tight. I'm 27, 4 years younger than my perfect sister, but somehow I always feel decades behind in their eyes. Mom suddenly turns to me with that familiar look, the one that comes before her helpful life advice. "You know, Maya, if you'd stuck with that marketing degree instead of switching to accounting, you might have opportunities like Lisa's." The marketing degree I abandoned when they called crying about losing their restaurant. The career path that's been on hold for 3 years, while my bank account slowly empties. "I like my job," I say quietly. Mom sighs deeply and looks at Dad meaningfully. "Liking something isn't the same as excelling, sweetie." She sets down her fork with a sharp click. "Honestly, Maya, you're not even half the woman your sister is." The birthday party goes completely silent. Even the music seems to stop playing. My hand shakes around my water glass, making tiny waves on the surface. I can feel my pulse pounding in my temples. Heat creeps up my neck like fire. The words hit me like a punch to the stomach. The grandfather clock in the hallway tick-tick-ticks in the quiet. In that moment, something breaks open inside me. 3 years of staying quiet. 3 years of giving up everything. 3 years of being treated like nothing. "Then maybe she can take over the restaurant payments," I say, my voice barely above a whisper. The words float in the air like dandelion seeds. Dad's cake fork clatters onto his plate with a loud clang. "Restaurant payments? What restaurant payments?" Lisa's champagne glass freezes halfway to her mouth, confusion spreading across her face. Mom's face turns white as paper so fast I worry she might fall over. "Maya, this isn't birthday party talk. Who wants more cake? I made your favorite chocolate." "No." The word comes out stronger than I expected. I pull out my phone with trembling fingers and open my banking app. "What are you talking about?" Dad demands, but his confident smile is cracking like old paint. "We got a business loan years ago." I scroll through months of transactions, finding the very first payment from 3 years ago. I turn the screen toward them all. March 10th, 2021. $3,000 to save Bella's Bistro from closing forever. "Just once, you promise me." Mom jumps up from her chair. "This is completely inappropriate. I'm getting the birthday presents." April, May, June. I continue, scrolling through the proof. Every single month for 3 years, between $1,500 and $3,000 depending on what emergency came up. Dad's face goes hard like stone. "We've had some rough patches in the business, Maya." "You know that. Rough patches." My voice gets louder. 3 years isn't rough patches." I turn to Lisa, whose party hat now looks silly on her confused face. Did you know? Did you know that while you were buying your downtown condo and getting promotions, I was keeping Mom and Dad's restaurant from shutting down?" Lisa slowly shakes her head back and forth. "They told me they were helping you with money, that you were struggling to pay rent." A laugh bubbles up from somewhere deep and bitter inside me. "Is that what they said?" Family takes care of family, Mom says, coming back without presents. That's what good daughters do. Family takes care of family, I repeat like a broken record. But I'm not really family, am I? I'm just a piggy bank, the backup plan, the safety net you pretend doesn't exist. The truth washes over me like cold rain. All those years of trying to be good enough, of accepting scraps, of making myself smaller and smaller to fit in their perfect picture. And for what? So they could drain my future dry while celebrating Lisa for success that my sacrifice helped make possible. Lisa carefully sets down her champagne. How much, Maya? She asks quietly. Total. I look straight into her eyes for the first time all night. $84,000. Dad chokes and starts coughing. That's ridiculous. But his protest sounds weak. He knows they all know now. My house down payment, I say, my voice getting steadier. My master's degree, my entire future. The dining room falls silent again, but this silence feels different, heavy with truth, thick with secrets finally seeing daylight. And somewhere underneath all the anger and hurt, I feel something else growing. Something that feels like freedom. Back in my tiny apartment that night, memories flash through my mind like lightning strikes. The phone rang at 2:15 a.m. on a Wednesday. I almost didn't answer, already cozy in my thrift store pajamas in my studio apartment, but something made me reach for it. Maya. Mom's voice was broken, full of tears. I didn't know who else to call. I sat up fast, suddenly wide awake. What's wrong? Is someone hurt? The restaurant, she sobbed. We're going to lose Bella's Bistro. The next few minutes blurred as she explained through choking sobs about missed supplier payments, about Dad's failing business plan, about the eviction notice that came today. Words like 30 days and auction scattered between her cries. How much? I asked, already opening my laptop in the dark. The screen's glow hurt my eyes as I logged into my savings account. 3 years of overtime and homemade lunches stared back at me, my down payment fund for a small Phoenix apartment. 3,000, she whispered, just to buy us time. She paused, sniffling loudly. Honey, I wouldn't ask, but we're desperate. Lisa's still paying off her student loans. My finger hovered over the transfer button. Bella's Bistro had been their dream for 15 years. The red brick building where I celebrated high school graduation. The kitchen where Dad taught me to flip pancakes. The dining room where we hosted family gatherings every Sunday. Just this once, Mom promised. Dad's MORTIFIED that I even called you. We'll pay you back the second. The Valentine's Day rush brings in money. Clicked send. $3,000 vanished from my account like magic, numbers dropping down like a broken elevator. Thank you, sweetheart, Mom cried, relief washing her voice clean. You're such a good daughter. Dad got on the phone briefly. Won't happen again, Maya Bear, just a bad month. His voice had that forced cheerfulness I remembered from childhood. Broken promises, canceled trips to Disneyland, Christmas presents that never showed up. I stared at my account balance long after hanging up. The empty feeling in my stomach had nothing to do with being hungry. Just this once, 2 weeks later, Mom called again. The supplier made a billing error, she said, but her voice sounded different now. Less panic, more expectation. Just 2,000 this time. I transferred the money without questions. Another month passed. Dad's big catering order fell through, but business will pick up soon. Another transfer. By the 4th month, I stopped waiting for explanations. I stopped expecting to be paid back. I set up automatic payments. $1,800, straight from my paycheck to their restaurant account. It felt easier than the phone calls, easier than the tearful thank yous, easier than the empty promises. My email dinged during lunch at work on a Friday. Phoenix Apartments' final day for pre-construction pricing. I clicked it open at my desk. Photos of the perfect starter apartment scrolled past, walking distance to work. In my price range, just 10% down. I checked my savings. After 4 months of transfers, I was back where I started 2 years ago. The apartment sold out that weekend. That evening, I called the college to defer my master's program for the 3rd time. Financial reasons, I wrote on the form. The counselor said they'd hold my spot 1 more year. After that, I'd have to start over completely. I made a spreadsheet on my laptop, columns for dates and amounts and running totals, a separate page for dreams I'd given up, the apartment, the degree, the trip to Italy for my best friend's wedding. My chest felt tight as the numbers grew bigger and bigger. 4 months became 8 months. 8 months became a year and a half. During my lunch break, I heated up instant ramen in the office microwave. My phone buzzed with an Instagram notification. Mom posting from Romano's, the expensive steakhouse uptown. Date night, grateful for our blessings. Dad's new fishing boat gleamed in another photo the next day. Can't make it to the lake house this weekend, I texted my college friends. Money's tight. My third excuse that summer. They stopped inviting me eventually. The credit card rejection email arrived on the same day Lisa posted her condo buying celebration. Insufficient credit history and debt-to-income ratio, the bank explained. I scrolled through Lisa's photos of champagne toasts and house keys while eating cereal for dinner again. Your sister always made smart money choices, Mom told me at Easter brunch, while I quietly calculated how many more months until I could restart my master's fund. Financial responsibility shows real maturity. I nodded and swallowed the irony along with the store-brand orange juice. At the office Christmas party, Jennifer from HR sat next to me. You okay? You've been bringing sandwiches for months. Her eyes were kind behind her wire-rimmed glasses, more concerned than nosy. Just saving money, I said automatically. The lie rolled off my tongue easily by now. She studied me over her plastic cup of cheap wine. Saving for what exactly? Because you never actually seem to buy anything. Something in her straightforward question cracked my careful wall. Over after-work coffee that turned into dinner, the whole story poured out. 3 years, $84,000, the endless cycle of emergencies that were somehow always my responsibility. Jennifer set down her coffee mug with a sharp click. Maya, you can't set yourself on fire to keep other people warm. They're my parents, I said weakly. And you're their daughter, not their personal bank, she shot back. She pulled out a napkin and a pen. Let's do math. We calculated the real cost. Not just money, but lost opportunities. Career advancement missed. Retirement savings that never happened. The final number made my hands shake. They wouldn't understand, I whispered. Maybe not, Jennifer agreed. But do you understand what you're sacrificing? That night, I stared at my phone, thumb hovering over the automatic payment screen. 3 years, $84,000. My finger trembled as I almost hit cancel, almost dared to see if they'd notice, if they'd care. I pressed my thumb against the cold phone screen and closed my eyes tight. When I opened them, the confirmation message stared back at me. One more month of burning myself alive. But something had changed. In my phone's black reflection, I saw something in my own eyes that hadn't been there before. Determination. I couldn't sleep after Lisa's birthday disaster. My banking app glowed on my phone at 6:22 a.m. I hadn't slept at all. My thumb hovered over the cancel automatic payment button as morning light crept through my apartment blinds. 3 years of sending between $1,500 and $3,000 every month to keep their restaurant alive. Money that should have built MY life. $84,000. A down payment on a Phoenix condo when prices were still reasonable. The master's degree I kept putting off. A retirement account with years of compound interest. All sacrificed to pay bills that weren't mine for a business I didn't own, owned by people who told me last night I wasn't even half the woman my sister is. My finger shook as I pressed the button. Are you sure you want to cancel this recurring payment? Was I? I pressed confirm. My stomach dropped like I'd jumped off a cliff. But instead of crashing, I felt something unexpected. Relief so deep my whole body relaxed against the headboard. For the first time in 3 years. My next paycheck belonged completely to me. The first call came before I finished my morning coffee. Dad's name lit up my screen. I let it ring until voicemail picked up. Maya. His voice was cold as ice. What you did last night was unforgivable. After everything we've done for you, this is how you thank us. By abandoning your family when we need you most. I deleted the message and blocked his number. By lunch, Mom had left 6 messages, each one more tearful than the last. By 3 o'clock, I'd blocked her too. Lisa texted around dinner time. They're saying you're punishing them. What's going on? They won't stop calling me crying. I typed back. Ask them about the restaurant payments I've been making for 3 years. The typing dots appeared and disappeared several times. Finally, I'm so sorry, Maya, I had no idea. The doorbell rang at 7:30 p.m. Through the peephole, I saw Mom holding a photo album against her chest. I pressed my back against the door, willing her to disappear. Maya, sweetie, I know you're home. I brought pictures from when you were little. Remember how we were always there for you? Remember your first day of school when you cried and Mom stayed with you? What I remembered was working 2 jobs in college while Lisa's tuition got paid in full. What I remembered was putting off grad school to help with their temporary business problems that somehow lasted 3 years. I didn't open the door. By morning, my aunt in Seattle had called to express worry about your poor parents. My uncle in Denver emailed about family responsibility. Cousins I barely knew suddenly needed to check on my mental health. The family phone tree was working overtime. "They're pros," Jennifer said over coffee at our usual place. She was the only friend who knew the whole story. "I've got to admit, they've got the guilt machine running at full power." She stirred her latte thoughtfully. "Classic manipulation. When direct pressure fails, they send in the flying monkeys." Flying monkeys from The Wizard of Oz, the witch's helpers who do her dirty work. Jennifer had become my reality check over the past year, the one person who truly saw what was happening. "I made an appointment with a financial advisor," I told her. "Tomorrow at 10. She reached across the table and squeezed my hand tight. "I'm proud of you, Maya." The financial advisor's office smelled like fresh coffee and leather. Patricia adjusted her reading glasses as she looked through my bank statements. 84,000 over 3 years, she said quietly. "And they never acknowledged these payments publicly or told your sister." I shook my head. "And you had no legal obligation to save their business." "None." "Then what you experienced was financial abuse," she said firmly, leaning forward. "Family abuse is still abuse, Maya." Hearing a professional name, it sent chills down my spine. I had been abused, not helped, not supported, abused by my own parents. "Let's create a real budget," Patricia said. "One that puts your future first." When she showed me projections for where I could be in 5 years without the restaurant drain, I started crying. College funds for future kids, retirement matching that actually worked, a down payment fund that grew instead of disappearing every month. "This is what financial health looks like," Patricia said gently. The next day, I opened my first investment account with the $1,800 I would have sent to my parents. It felt like planting a flag on new territory. This money was mine. This future was mine. That afternoon, I re-enrolled in the graduate program I deferred for 6 semesters. "Welcome back, Miss Rodriguez," the advisor said warmly. "We kept your spot open." 2 weeks passed. The family phone calls slowed down. Lisa texted occasionally with careful, neutral messages that danced around our new reality. My parents switched between complete silence and desperate attempts to reach me. I practiced what I'd say when I finally talked to them. Jennifer helped me write it down, and I rehearsed in front of my bathroom mirror. "I love you, but your restaurant is not my responsibility." Simple, clear, unbreakable. The knock came on a Sunday night, as I studied for my first graduate class in years. 3 sharp raps, Dad's signature knock. I opened the door to find both parents in my hallway. Mom's eyes were swollen from crying. Dad's jaw was set in that rigid line that meant childhood punishment was coming. "This has gone on long enough," he said, pushing past me into my apartment. "You've made your point." Mom followed, reaching for my hand. I stepped backward. "Your behavior is destroying this family," Dad continued, packing my small living room. "Do you know what people are saying?" "Your cousin Mark asked if you were having a mental breakdown." "Robert," Mom whispered, warning in her voice. "No, Ellen, she needs to hear this." He spun around to face me. "You've humiliated us. You've created a family crisis over a little financial help that any daughter would give without question." $84,000 isn't little help," I said, my voice stronger than I felt inside. "You're killing me with this betrayal," Mom sobbed, tears streaming down her cheeks. "After everything we've sacrificed for you." The practiced script I'd memorized vanished completely. Instead, something raw and true rose up from deep inside me. White. "I love you both," I said clearly, "but your restaurant is not my responsibility. It never was." Dad's face turned bright red. "So that's it. You're just abandoning us when we need you most." "I'm not abandoning you," I said firmly. "I'm stopping the abandonment of myself." The words hung in the air between us, solid and undeniable. They left 5 minutes later, Mom crying, Dad stiff with rage. When the door closed, my knees buckled. I slid down to the floor, sobbing with tears that felt ripped from somewhere deep inside. But underneath the grief ran something I'd never felt before. Lightness. Like heavy chains had fallen off my shoulders after years of carrying their weight. That night, I slept 9 straight hours for the first time in 3 years. When morning came, I stood at my window watching sunrise paint the city gold. Phoenix stretched out before me, familiar but somehow different now. a landscape of possibility instead of obligation. For the first time since that middle-of-the-night call 3 years ago, when my parents' crisis became my burden, I felt the shape of my own life returning. I was not half of anyone. I was complete. 6 months after that confrontation, I wake up to sunshine streaming through curtains I actually picked out myself. Instead of checking my bank app first thing to see how much I could spend after the restaurant payment cleared, I stretch luxuriously and smile at my ceiling. My ceiling. My rules. My money. The promotion email appeared yesterday afternoon. Senior financial analyst. The words still feel like a dream. Your analytical skills and dedication make you perfect for this role, my boss had said, actually looking directly at me. The whole accounting department recognizes your value, Maya. Value. The word settled in my chest like a warm stone. I lace up my running shoes and head out for my morning jog, waving to Mrs. Chen walking her golden retriever. She calls out enthusiastically, "Big day for your cooking class tonight, right? The final exam beef Wellington." I laugh back. "I'll bring you leftovers." 6 months ago, I didn't know my neighbor's name. Couldn't afford community classes. Couldn't buy ingredients beyond ramen and peanut butter. My phone buzzes in my pocket. Jennifer from work. "The hiking group is meeting at Camelback Mountain Saturday," she says when I answer. "You in?" "Absolutely," I reply, thinking of the new hiking boots I bought last month. The desert has become my church. The vastness puts family drama into proper perspective. Last weekend, I stood on a peak and yelled into the wind until my voice cracked and something tight inside me finally loosened. When I got home, there was an envelope in my mailbox. Thick and official looking. I opened it right there in the lobby, heart pounding as I unfolded the letter. "Dear Miss Rodriguez, we are pleased to inform you of your acceptance." I pressed the paper to my chest, vision blurring with happy tears. Graduate program. The one I'd put off for 3 years when that first desperate call came. My phone rings again. My Aunt Sandra this time. "Your father asked me to call," she begins apologetically. "He says the doctor is concerned about his blood pressure." The stress of the restaurant struggling. I checked their business account online yesterday out of curiosity. "The restaurant account shows they're current through next month," I interrupt gently. "I'm sorry about Dad's health, but I can't help anymore." Aunt Sandra sighs deeply. "He mentioned there might be some misunderstanding about family duties." "No misunderstanding," I say firmly. "I love you, Aunt Sandra. Please tell Dad I hope he feels better." I hang up and check Facebook. Mom's latest post appears at the top of my feed. Heartbroken when children abandon parents who gave them everything. Family should mean forever. 15 sympathetic comments from relatives who don't know the real story. I close the app without responding and turn to my email. Lisa has sent a careful message. "They're saying scary things about money. Are they really going to lose the restaurant? I'm confused about what's happening." I type back quickly. "They have options they don't want to consider. I'm happy to explain everything if you want my side of the story." Before I can second-guess myself, I hit send and head to the shower. Work is calling, and today I'm presenting the quarterly analysis to the executive team. My analysis, the one I designed myself. The conference room goes quiet when I walk in. 6 months ago, I would have assumed it was dismissal. Today, I recognize respect. "The cost-saving measures are impressive," says Marcus, our department head. "Maya's recommendations could save us 40% on processing." My colleagues clap, not polite golf claps, but real appreciation. I stand taller and begin my presentation with confidence I never knew I had. That afternoon, my office phone rings with an unknown number. "Maya Rodriguez, this is Kate Sullivan with Phoenix Executive Recruiters. I'm calling about a director position in San Diego." I almost dropped the phone. "Someone who was very impressed with your quarterly analysis recommended you. The position is with Coastal Financial Group. Would you be interested in discussing it?" My mouth goes dry. San Diego. A 50% salary increase from what I make now, plus stock options. I write the number on a sticky note, promise to call back, and sit stunned at my desk. San Diego. 4 states away from the gravitational pull of family obligation. A director role that would skip me past 2 levels of management. That evening, I open my laptop and look at San Diego apartments online. The realtor shows me a 10th floor unit with ocean views. The beach stretches endlessly outside the windows. "What's your budget?" she asks carefully. She names a price that 6 months ago would have been impossible. But now, with no restaurant payments draining my account, I open a spreadsheet and calculate quickly. 2 years of the San Diego salary would equal 3 years of what I'd given to my parents' restaurant. My phone rings. Lisa. I talked to Dad, she says quietly. He admitted everything. 3 years of you paying their restaurant bills while they told me you were struggling and they were helping you. Her voice cracks. They used you, Maya. I'm so sorry I didn't see it. Something inside me clicks into place, the final piece of a jigsaw puzzle. It's not your fault, Lisa. Are you really thinking about San Diego? She asks. Mom and Dad heard through family gossip. They're furious you didn't tell them first. I laugh softly. San Diego feels right. I'm ready for something bigger. That weekend, I start packing my Phoenix apartment. Each item passes a simple test. Does this serve my future or chain me to the past? The donation pile grows larger than the keep pile. My phone pings with a text from the San Diego company. The offer letter is ready for electronic signature. Full benefits start immediately. Relocation bonus included. I look around my half-packed apartment at the graduate acceptance letter on my refrigerator, at the hiking boots by the door. For the first time in my adult life, everything I own represents choices I made for me. I sign the contract. A month after signing, I stand at the floor-to-ceiling windows of my San Diego condo, watching dawn paint the Pacific Ocean in shades of pink and gold. 12 floors above the city, I've built a life where I matter, where my voice carries weight. My phone buzzes on the marble counter. Another text from Mom about how they're managing without my help. I ignore it and sip coffee that costs more than I used to allow myself in a week. Small luxuries don't trigger guilt anymore. The second buzz isn't from my parents. It's Rachel, my old neighbor from Phoenix. Thought you should see this. Sorry, Maya. I tap the attachment. The photo loads slowly, as if my phone is trying to protect me from what it contains. A vinyl banner stretches across Bella's Bistro's front window. Bright red letters on white background. Thank you, Lisa, for saving our family business. My coffee mug slips from my hands and crashes on the hardwood. Hot liquid splashes everywhere, but I barely notice the burn. 3 years, $84,000. I sink to the floor, not from weakness but from rage so pure it needs grounding to the physical world. They've erased me completely. But worse, they've rewritten history entirely. When my breathing steadies, I get my laptop and open my banking app. 3 years of statements. 3 years of transfer confirmations. Text messages from Mom with variations of just this once, and we'll pay you back soon. I find the email folder labeled family and pull out every desperate plea. Dad's failed marketing campaigns. Mom's medical bills that insurance mysteriously didn't cover. The new equipment, the repairs, the taxes they forgot were due. My printer hums as I create a paper trail of their lies. While it works, I forward each piece of evidence to my personal email, then to a backup account I create just for this. Digital proof of years of manipulation. My phone rings. Lisa's name flashes on the screen. Have you seen it? She asks without introduction. The banner. Yes, Maya. I swear I had nothing to do with this. They told everyone at church that I've been making the restaurant payments since you abandoned them. I laugh, a hollow sound that echoes off my expensive condo walls. Of course they did. There's more, Lisa continues, her voice dropping to a whisper. They're planning a community appreciation dinner next weekend to honor my sacrifice. The formal invitation arrives in my email an hour later. Cream-colored digital stationery with flowing script. Join us in celebrating Lisa's selfless dedication to family values. Mom's voicemail follows minutes after. We hope you can put aside our differences to celebrate your sister. Family should support each other during recognition. Family should support each other during recognition. I trace the date with my finger. Next Saturday. I could book a flight back to Phoenix. I should book a flight. I call Jennifer, my former coworker who first helped me see the patterns clearly. They're giving Lisa credit for paying their restaurant bills, I tell her, voice surprisingly calm. They're throwing her a party for something I did for 3 years. Jennifer's silence speaks volumes before she finally responds. What are you going to do? Fly back to Phoenix and confront them. No, I say, opening my laptop to start typing. I'm going to tell the truth. Saturday evening, I stand on their familiar porch once again. Inside, voices mix with light jazz music. Dad's carefully chosen playlist for impressing people. I'm wearing a tailored navy suit that cost more than I would have spent on 6 months of clothes in my old life. Battle armor. The folder under my arm contains every receipt, printed twice. My laptop bag holds a flash drive with a presentation I've prepared with scientific precision. Lisa opens the door before I can knock. "You came," she breathes, eyes wide with surprise. "Did you think I wouldn't?" She steps aside, revealing the living room decorated for celebration. Flowers I know they can't afford, catering from the upscale place across town. A projector screen showing a slideshow titled The Rodriguez Family Legacy of Service. Mom spots me first. Her wine glass stops halfway to her lips. "Maya, what a lovely surprise." Her voice has that artificial sweetness reserved for awkward social moments. "We weren't sure you'd make it with your busy new life in California." Dad turns around, his practiced smile wavering when he sees my expression. "Princess, come in, come in. We're just about to toast your sister's incredible generosity." The room falls silent as I walk toward the projector setup. Aunts, uncles, cousins, church friends all watching as I set my folder on the side table. "May I add something to the presentation?" I ask, my voice carrying across the quiet room. Dad hesitates, then nods with the confidence of someone who thinks he controls the story. Of course, of course. Our younger daughter wants to honor her sister too. How wonderful." I connect my laptop to the projector cable, replacing their slideshow with mine. The title slide appears, 36 months, $84,000, Maya. "What's this?" Mom asks sharply. "The truth," I answer simply. The first slide shows a spreadsheet. Dates, amounts, account numbers partially hidden. Transaction descriptions that tell their own story. Emergency transfer to parents, restaurant supplier payment, equipment loan payment, health insurance premium. "I don't think this is appropriate dinner conversation," Mom interrupts, moving toward the projector. "Either is lying to your entire community," I counter, clicking to the next slide. Text messages appear, enlarged for everyone to see. "Mom, Maya, we're desperate, just this once. The suppliers are threatening to cut us off." "Mom, Dad's catering contract will come through next month. Just help us bridge the gap." "Mom, family comes first, always. We do the same for you." Whispers ripple through the gathered guests. Aunt Patricia covers her mouth in shock. Uncle Steve shifts uncomfortably in his chair. "You're publicly embarrassing us," Dad hisses, his face turning bright red. "If the truth embarrasses you, that's not my problem." I meet his gaze steadily. The next slide contrasts Dad's business credit card statements with their personal spending. Country club memberships, weekend spa trips, restaurant bills that exceeded what I spent on groceries in a month. "Stop this right now," Mom demands, her voice cracking with panic. But I continue, slide by slide, building the case that I'd subsidized their lifestyle while they paraded Lisa as the successful daughter and treated my contributions like they didn't exist. Lisa stands frozen in the corner, horror dawning on her face as she realizes the scale of the deception. Not just against me, but against her too. Used as their golden child while I was used as their secret ATM. When the final slide appears, the banner photo with the truth written across it, the room has fallen into stunned silence. $84,000, I say quietly to the crowd. My house down payment, my master's degree, my entire future. Aunt Carmen, Dad's older sister, slowly rises from her seat by the fireplace. For a moment, I think she'll defend them like she always has. Instead, she begins to clap, slow, deliberate applause that echoes in the silence. "It's about time someone told the truth in this family," she says, her voice carrying the weight of years. 3 of my cousins start nodding, recognition in their eyes. The family patterns aren't new, just finally exposed to daylight. Mom tries one last desperate deflection. "Family business should stay private, Maya. This is completely inappropriate." "Private like the banner on your restaurant?" I ask calmly. Lisa moves then, crossing the room to stand beside me. She doesn't speak, doesn't need to. Her presence next to me says everything that needs saying. For the first time in our lives, we face our parents as a united front, the golden child and the invisible one, standing together in truth. And in that moment, I feel the last chains of obligation finally snap free. 8 months after the confrontation, Seattle morning light streams through floor-to-ceiling windows, warming my face as I stir honey into my tea. Lisa sits across from me at the corner cafe, her lawyer posture relaxed for once. Hair pulled back in a simple bun instead of her usual perfect styling. I still can't believe they showed up at your office with papers to add your name to the restaurant deed, Lisa says, shaking her head in disbelief. After everything. I smile, watching ferryboats cross Elliott Bay through the window. Their version of an apology, I guess. And you turned it down flat. Not a question, but a statement of respect. I already own my own place, I tell her, gesturing toward the gleaming high-rise visible from our table. What I needed was respect, not a name on paper. 8 months since the truth destroyed our family's foundation. 8 months of rebuilding not what was, but something new and honest. My phone buzzes with a work notification. Rodriguez team wins Industry Innovation Award for Risk Management System. My team. My leadership. Lisa notices my smile. Another victory. I show her the screen. Senior director sounds pretty good before my name, doesn't it? Better than secret restaurant sponsor, she laughs. You're speaking at that finance conference next month, right? Ethics in Leadership panel, I confirm with a chuckle at the irony. Apparently, standing up to financial exploitation makes me an expert. Later that evening, I tie my hiking boots as 4 friends wait by the apartment door. No elaborate excuses about tight budgets. No calculating whether I can afford gas money. Just 5 women heading to Mount Rainier because the autumn leaves are changing colors. David asked about you again, Megan says as we drive, wiggling her eyebrows teasingly. The software engineer from my rock climbing class. Heat creeps up my neck that has nothing to do with embarrassment and everything to do with possibility. Dadding without financial anxiety feels like breathing clean air for the first time. On Wednesday, I stand before 15 young women at the community center's financial independence workshop. Boundaries aren't selfish, I tell them, my voice steady with hard-earned conviction. They're the foundation of healthy relationships. A girl in the front row raises her hand. But what if it's family asking? Especially then, I answer, meeting her eyes directly. When Lisa visits in October, we cook pasta in my kitchen, marinara sauce bubbling as Billie Holiday plays softly. Mom would have hovered, critiquing every move. Tonight there's only laughter as Lisa spills wine on my granite countertop. Remember how Mom used to measure our pasta portions? Lisa asks, twirling linguine around her fork. 3 ounces for you, 4 for Dad, 2 for me because ladies watch their figures. And now look at us, I gesture to our overflowing plates. Rebels with carbohydrates. We talk until midnight about childhood patterns we never questioned, about adult choices we're making differently now. I've been thinking about taking a real vacation, Lisa says thoughtfully. Not a networking event disguised as relaxation, just pure fun. Where would you go? I ask. We, she corrects firmly. Where would we go, sister's only trip? My throat tightens with unexpected emotion. A year later, I open a new savings account. Seed money for my future niece's college fund, not from obligation, but from choice. At the community center, my financial boundaries workshop has tripled in size. Setting limits isn't about rejecting people, I explain to the packed room. It's about respecting yourself enough to bring your whole, healthy self to relationships. In my journal that night, I write year 2 of my authentic life at the top of a fresh page. Below it, not goals or achievements, but truths I've learned. Worth isn't measured by sacrifice. Love without respect is just being used. Starting over at 30 isn't failure, it's courage. Evening finds me on my balcony, watching sunset paint Puget Sound in shades of gold, then purple, then deep blue. No phone buzzing with financial emergencies. No mental calculations of what's left in my account after family obligations. Just this moment. Just me, finally home in my own life. The restaurant banner is long gone now. Lisa told me they quietly took it down after 3 weeks of awkward questions from customers who'd heard the real story. Mom and Dad are managing somehow. Their pride wounded, but their business surviving without my monthly transfusions. I don't ask for details, it's not my responsibility anymore. Last month I got a text from Dad. Simple words, proud of your promotion, sorry we lost sight of what mattered. Not an apology exactly, but acknowledgement. A crack in the wall we'd built between us. I texted back, thank you, I love you both. Because I do love them. But loving someone doesn't mean setting yourself on fire to keep them warm. The Seattle skyline glitters below my balcony as I sip chamomile tea and plan tomorrow's rock climbing session. David will be there, with his easy laugh and genuine interest in my thoughts. Lisa's visiting next weekend to help me pick out furniture for the guest room. Jennifer's flying up from Phoenix the weekend after that to celebrate my graduate degree completion. My calendar is full of choices I made for my own happiness, not obligations, not guilt, not the endless weight of other people's problems, just the simple joy of a life lived on my own terms. The woman who used to disappear at family dinners, who accepted scraps of attention while funding everyone else's dreams, is gone. In her place stands someone who knows her worth, someone who speaks up, someone who takes up space without apology. I am not half of anyone. I am complete, whole, and finally free. The city lights twinkle like stars below as I close my eyes and breathe in the salt air. Tomorrow brings another day of living authentically, another day of choosing myself first, another day of the beautiful, complicated, entirely mine life I've built from the ashes of who I used to be. And for the first time in years, that thought doesn't scare me. It fills me with quiet, unshakable joy. I am whole.